Business news now, and Stephen Carroll joins me on set. Good morning to you, Stephen.
Hello, Thomas.
And here in France, farmers are angry.
Yes, they are, and they're using the agricultural show here in Paris to demonstrate their frustration about low prices. On Sunday, protesting farmers ransacked a stand belonging to Bigard, the biggest French meat producer, I should say. Processing firms and supermarkets have come under pressure from farmers to pay them more after a fall in demand hit prices. The Prime Minister Manuel Valls, you can see him, he's there at the salon today, already getting a robust reception in his interaction with farmers. More details now from Shirley Sitman.
On its 30th birthday, France's biggest meat processor didn't get a cake, but flour thrown all over its booth at the annual agricultural show. Farmers say Charal pays too little for beef.
When consumers spend €100 on meat, only €8 go to farmers.
The other sectors of the industry don't agree. Traders, processors, and supermarkets say they treat farmers fairly.
It hurts to see this, makes me want to cry. Why? Because they're destroying their tools. Charal sells meat produced by French farmers. They say we make all the money, but that's false. It's a misunderstanding.
So who's right? How much do meat farmers really make? France's Price and Profit Observatory says that farmers get 47% of the money spent on beef, while supermarkets get 27% and slaughterhouses and processors get 21%. But the study also shows that the taxes farmers have to pay are so high that in the end, they make no money at all. In fact, they lose money. One reason is that expensive quality meat is sold at the same price as low-quality cheap meat.
We're lowering our standards progressively. We're swapping high-quality beef for low-quality beef. And that's why farmers are struggling. It's like wine, like selling gallons of cheap wine instead of quality bottles.
Farmers say that if the French want to eat quality meat, they have to pay more. 66% of consumers say they're prepared to do that.
Okay, that was Shirley Sitbon reporting there. But Stephen, there's better news for farmers coming out of India.
That's right. India is aiming to double the income of millions of farmers there. The Finance Minister, Arun Jaitley, made the announcement during a budget which is being described as make or break for India's government. Well, for more details on this, let's go to New Delhi and speak to our correspondent, Sreya Banerjee. Sreya, what have been the big announcements in this budget speech?
I think the challenge for Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was to balance the industry and business interests with the common man's interests, and it seems to have tilted a little bit in favor of the common man, with spending huge amounts of spending promised in the agriculture and infrastructure areas. And recently, India has been hit by severe droughts in many parts of the country, and it's affected many of India's 120 million farmers, and therefore this budget was very important to show that the government has the interests of farmers in mind. It's spending about 870 million rupees, and it's focused on aid. On aid with communities, health programs, rural roads so that farmers can get their produce to the market easier. So a lot of focus on the agricultural sector, and also about 550 million rupees in infrastructure in general as well. The business leaders, the business community seems to be does not seem to have gotten everything that they wanted from this. In fact, markets have been a bit jittery. The Sensex dropped about 300 points. It's regained some ground lately, but Arun Jaitley has actually reiterated the fact that India continues to be sort of a bright spot on a sort of gloomy economic climate in general, and that that they need to focus, however, on the poor and downtrodden in the country, and the budget does seem to reflect that.
And does this spending plans represent a shift away from the previous pro-business policies we've been used to from this government?
Slightly, yeah. It does seem to be a bit of a shift because, they've come in with a mandate, with a pro-business, pro-investor mandate. But this time it seems to be a pro-poor budget. Now, we can't lose sight of the fact that there are elections coming up in Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, which have huge farming populations. So it's with an eye towards these populations that this budget has been unveiled as well. But yes, in that sense, it's a pro-poor budget, and it's been seen as the first of many political budgets, perhaps, for this government.
Okay, Sreya Banerjee there speaking to us from New Delhi. Thank you for that update.
OK, Stephen, what's happening on the markets this morning?
Well, we'd seen sharp falls in trading in China earlier on, and that was after the central bank adjusted the value of the Chinese currency. The yuan made it weaker. That sent shares in Shanghai down. You can see closing there almost 2.9% down. Australia was just telling us there, the Sensex in Mumbai just trading up a short time ago, but it did see that drop as the budget speech was being read out by the finance minister. Here in Europe, shares opening the day down, the main markets down all by around 1%. EDF, though, a bright spot there in Paris. It's opened up by over 2%. That's after French Energy Minister Ségolène Royal said that it was possible that the life span of some nuclear power plants could be extended by up to 10 years. That would be good news for EDF, so their shares up as a result.
OK, Stephen, thank you very much for that business update here this morning.